Greetings and welcome to today's show. My name is Ariella Indigo, and it's my honour to be your host for Season 2 of the Multi-Dimensional Human Experience Global Summit. And in this season, we're talking all about the topic of Ascension and how to fast track our spiritual evolution, a topic that affects all of us. And I know there'll be many watching this who don't necessarily have the support from their family or from their peer group. So it feels very important that we create a community and a platform to do that. So when I was asking my higher self which speakers to invite to this summit, a couple of names came immediately into my awareness, one of which is my incredible guest Ishtar today, who I first got introduced to after a few different summit viewers from season 1 wrote into me and made me aware of Ishtar. And it's funny how these things work, because shortly after that, I was walking down Glastonbury High Street here in the UK, and I bumped into a summit viewer who said that she was with Ishtar and that they were both visiting Glastonbury for one of Ishtar's tours. So her name was kind of reverberating around in my reality for a while, so I knew that I had to reach out to her for season 2. So Ishtar is an international spiritual teacher and counsellor. She's an embodied channel for a council of 33 masters. Ishtar's worked with the masters for the past 15 years, regularly channeling high-frequency wisdom teachings for groups and individuals. Ishtar was guided and directly taught to open her pillar of light, initially by Saint Germain, and then Lord Kutumi was her teacher after that. And she currently works with Lord Maitreya and Mary Magdalene to awaken the Christ consciousness here on earth. So excited to speak to Ishtar about this today. So a very warm welcome to the show, Ishtar. It's great to have you here.
Thank you very much, Ariella. It's a joy to be here.
And I'd like to start off, if I may, by asking you to share with the viewers a bit about your own awakening and ascension journey. And I know that we have some things in common here, which hopefully we're going to discuss a little bit about our rites of passage of how we came onto the spiritual path. So it would be awesome to hear about that, Ishtar, if I could ask you to do that, and also a bit about how your mission first came online.
Okay. I'm trying to think of, it's my whole life really is what we're talking about. So
yes,
I had, my life has been a very spiritual life for a long time. Even as when I was young, I was deeply spiritual, and I studied astrology and tarot and things like that. But I became sick in my 20s, and I developed an addiction to drugs, and so I struggled with that for about 10 years. And then when I had a walk-in experience, a near-death experience that caused a walk-in experience to occur for me when I was 32. And but interestingly enough, unlike many people, my walk-in didn't actually guide me to go on the spiritual path. It guided me to go on the physical path. And so my whole focus became part of my career. I'd been a journalist, and so I was focused very much to become present, to be here in the physical, and to do what everyone else did, like get up every morning, go to work, and focus on and doing those things. So I spent a long time doing that, and it wasn't until my late 40s that I was actually called back to spirit and to work with spirit again.
Right.
And so I started doing courses, and as a journalist, I created a New Age magazine that brought me into contact with people. And my contact with the masters didn't begin until I went to a retreat to actually write about it. And I was at this retreat, and everyone was talking about these beings. You know, they were talking about Saint Germain and Maitreya and other beings. And I didn't know who they were talking about. I thought they were talking about real people. So I didn't want to show my ignorance. And so I had to wait till I got home at the end of the retreat to Google these people, and discovered that they weren't really here in the physical, so to speak, but they're actually these ascended beings. And I had no idea who they were talking about. And I laugh about that today because I had no idea or even any desire to be a channel for these beings. And it didn't enter my head. And it wasn't until quite a few years later that I was doing workshops and meditation groups. And I was doing a meditation group, and everyone had been sitting there, and we just finished the meditation. It was a guided meditation, but it wasn't coming through a channel of a master. It was just a guided meditation as you would do. And I was sitting there just waiting for everyone to come back from the meditation, considering what we would do next, because normally we would share or do something. And this voice, quite loud, said in my head, "We're Saint Germain, and we've come. We'd like to offer a gift to everyone in the circle." And there was 30 people in the circle that day. It was actually an evening, including my mother, interestingly enough. And I said, "Oh," and I hadn't heard Saint Germain talk to me like that before, but I said, "Oh, well, okay." I knew of Saint Germain by then because I'd discovered who Saint Germain was. So I said, "Oh, okay, that's lovely." And I sort of thought what he would say. I said, "Oh, what is the gift?" Thinking he would say, "Oh, well, we're going to put a flower in everybody's heart, or we're going to bring light to everybody." And that's what I thought. And he said, "Well, everybody can ask a question and we're going to answer it." And I said, "Oh, that's wonderful." And then I thought, how are we going to do that? And he said, "Through you, beloved." And I said, "Oh, no, not through me. No way in the world is it going to happen through me. I couldn't possibly do that. I'm not going to do that." And he said, yes, this, it's easy. And I said, "No, it's not. And I went into deep fear. And as this occurred, this wave of energy just went through me. Complete wave of energy, huge energy. And I just went into this deep space of calm. And everyone had come back. And so I informed everybody about what was going on. And I said, "Do you want me to try this?" Because I felt like, oh, okay, I'll try this. And they all said, of course, yes. And so I said, "All right, well, I will give it a go." And I was in this deep space of calm. I was like floating. And so I closed my eyes and went back into meditation. And I said, "You can ask your questions, go around the circle." So they did. And apparently Saint Germain answered them. I have no memory of it. I was in complete trance. And apparently I spoke with my head down and my chin on my chest. And I don't know how they understood me, but anyway, they managed to. And I got halfway around the circle and I suddenly came out of this trance and went in fear again and said, "Oh, I think I'm going to be sick. I need to leave. I have to stop. I can't do this." And Saint Germain said, "It's okay, beloved. It's okay." And this wave of energy went through me again. And I went into this trance again. I get very emotional when I remember this, because it was such a huge wave of energy that touched me deeply. And then my head went down to my chest again, and off we went again until we finished. I have no memory of what was said. Everyone except my mother asked a question. And that was my first experience of channeling.
Wow.
The master. Yeah.
Wow.
That was how it began. And he came back. I always call myself the reluctant channel because I never wanted to channel the masters. And he came back a couple of days later and said, "Good, now we want you to channel for a group every Friday night. And 6 o'clock we'll come and you'll channel for a group." Now I lived out in the country, about 20 minutes from the village. And I said to him, "No, Friday night's no good because people, want to go out on Friday night. They don't want to come here. 6 o'clock's too early. No one will come." I gave every excuse in the book and to put him off. And he said, no, everyone will come. Don't worry. Just put it out there. And so I went, oh. So I put it out there thinking no one's going to come. So first Friday night, 30 people came.
Wow.
Again. And then for 6 years, every Friday night, except for Christmas and Easter, Good Friday, I channeled for a group. And we channeled the masters, and we channeled for a group for 6 years every Friday night.
Wow.
And so what happened was I began to channel for this group of 33. Some of the masters I only channeled 3 times. Many I channeled many, many times. Saint Germain, of course, I channeled a lot. But they all came through at various times, and they all embodied me and anchored and braided with me. And what happened, I had seers in the group who told me how it worked, but I could feel when they came in, it was like this energy was weaving itself through me, and it went in the back of my neck and then down my spine and into the earth. And it was like a braiding, like a DNA braiding that went through my spinal column, and it was quite painful. It wasn't gentle, but it was quite painful. And apparently the masters told me that had to happen 3 times so that I was fully braided with the master, and it would be really easy for me to channel them after that, which it is. I can now easily go into channel, whereas before I'd have to do a lot of preparation and to actually channel. So after this process, after the 6 years of doing this with these masters, it's easy. But I work with a particular group now. So I think that's my story.
That's incredible. Thank you so much for sharing that. I'm always fascinated to hear, and I know our viewers as well, they often have written into me saying, we love hearing people's stories. I think it's always so fascinating. So I thank you for sharing that. And just picking up on something that you said initially there, because I think it's also important to share this with our viewers. And I know it was the previous soul that was in your body before the walk-in experience. But I share the rite of passage that your consciousness entered in terms of the addictions coming into the light through the path of going through the shadow of addictions. For me, it was alcohol mostly, although there were drugs as well in the past. And we were sharing a little bit before the interview, weren't we, about this, and we both shared our love of Carl Jung. And like you, I think you were more spiritual than I was when you were younger, but I was also very into philosophy and looking for expanded sort of mindsets, because the deep issue with addicts, with many addicts, is that they really struggle to be on earth. And they really struggle to cope with how the system and everything is currently set up. And a lot of them are very spiritual beings, very high frequency beings. Right. And I think that Carl Jung just said it perfectly when and I think he used the word alcoholic, but I'm extend that across all addicts. All alcoholics are unconsciously seeking a spiritual experience. And I love that. And I spent many years in recovery. When I was forced because of a rock bottom, there were 2 choices available to me. You either clean up your act or you step off. And I went through that, intense healing journey and working towards the light and cleansing and purging, all of the darkness, which for a lot of us, and again, I'm sure our viewers can relate to this, the ones who have been on that journey, it can bring up very intense dark nights of the soul and all of those difficult experiences. But again, like we were sharing, in many ways, I'm grateful to have had that experience. And I'd love to hear what you say about this, because it forced me, it pushed me. It was such an intense journey that it was those 2 choices. And I think for people who don't have it as intense as that, I sometimes think, well, where is the motivation for you, to really get on the path? What do you think about that?
Well, I think it's wonderful that many people don't have that experience, because I don't think we all need to create that for ourselves. But I feel that we need to understand that darkness is simply part of our light that's forgotten who it is. And, you know, it's that experience of finding our light again. And we often need to go through those challenges, through that darkness, through that soup, if you will, of our being, of unresolved karma that we've created from many lifetimes of experience, so that we can find our light. And our journey is about reconnecting to our light. We are spiritual beings, and we're coming into a third dimensional plane of polarity and duality to express our light here. But we get so caught up in this third dimensional plane, and we forget who we are, and we're working in a physical consciousness, and we become trapped in that physical consciousness and forget that we are more than this. We forget our light, we forget the source of our being, and we often have to play in that super physicality and duality for a long time before we can come to a place of beginning to remember and being tapped on the shoulder and say, hey, come on, it's time to remember who you are and to reconnect with our light, because it is a journey of reconnecting with our very truth and letting go of the old truth that isn't serving us anymore to be who we are. And this is the journey. It really is the journey. I teach from those 6 years of channeling. There's a course, a self-mastery course called the Master's Way, and the first level of that is called the Path of Light. It's the path of enlightenment, but it actually focuses a lot on this journey of resolving the unresolved consciousness that we've created, resolving our unresolved karma, spending a lot of time working with those aspects and bringing them back to the light. And the masters say this is enlightenment. Every step we take where we breathe in and allow our light to fill us, we become enlightened.
Yes.
And then we need to take another step and become enlightened again. And the more steps we take, the more enlightened we become. But we have to take those steps forward to our light, not to another's, but ours, and really embrace our light and the beauty of us and the gentle, loving, innocent soul that we are, that we've forgotten. And that's so important.
Absolutely.
So that's the journey. It's the journey of stepping in and reconnecting to the truth of who we are. And we're forgotten. That's all. We just forget. And we get caught up in all the other stuff that seems so real. And yet in truth, it's not at all. It just isn't.
Ishtar, the body of work that has come through you and continues to come through you is nothing short of prolific. I know you've got some books there, and I don't know whether you could just hold them up and show the viewers just some of the teachings which the masters have channeled through.
Well, that's the level 1 of the Master's Way, and it's a very large book of teachings. It's all set out in teachings. And the third level, I haven't got them all here, unfortunately, but the third level of that is the Path of Mystery. And it's, sorry, it's got tatty things in it because I teach from it, but it's a very large book. And we have about 28 teachers teaching this around the world now and teaching self-mastery in groups. And then, of course, we have Open to Channel, which is, I've got someone bringing my other books to me. That's very nice. I've got Open to Channel, and this is the Path of Love. Yeah. And thank you. That's the Path of Love. That's the Path of Love. And then there's one called Open to Channel, which is about channeling. And that's a course that I taught for 12 years. And I've now got teachers teaching that, because I'm very focused on getting students to share the work, share their own wisdom. This is the basics. This gives them the base, and then they actually then add their own wisdom, their own understanding to the work when they take it out to groups. And this is for all of us to understand that as we grow, to take our hearts out there and share our wisdom, like you do. You take it out there, and you assist others to take it out there. And that's the gift. When we're given a gift from Spirit, we're meant to share it. Absolutely. We really are. And so every gift we receive, we're asked to share it with others. And that's the beauty of it, to really share it with others.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, Yes, the experience is there for a reason, and it's not meant just to keep it to ourselves. Absolutely.
No, no. I mean, you can see this behind me, the universal rays. It's a healing program that I've been teaching now for about 5 years. And the masters guided me to this. And this was another one of my reluctant channels that I didn't want to do. And now, you know, we have a book that's now available on Amazon called Tap into the Power of the Universal Rays that I've written. And it's all about the universal rays and the power of them. And we have practitioners and teachers all around the world now doing this. And it's extraordinary, the response that people get. And it works to assist people in a very easy way to resolve the karma they hold. And that's
the
whole
12
point.
rays. The 12 rays. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I love
the gateways of the masters. Yeah. And the
I
masters.
love the rays.
Yeah. Yeah. So do we.
I love all the stuff you're doing and all the masters that you channel. As you know, I have some connections with them as well, but I'm sure all the viewers are looking at your backdrop here, and it's very interesting and intriguing.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Well, Ishtar, I don't know, is there an opportunity to perhaps do some channeling for the viewers today on the topic of Ascension, or whatever, of course, the masters want to bring through? That would be amazing.
Well, Lord Maitreya will come through and he will speak about Ascension if you're wishing to sit with us and experience Lord Maitreya coming through.
I'm sure I speak for all the viewers when I say yes, please. It would be an honor. Thank you so much.
Okay. So just everybody who's listening, just take a minute to just breathe and close your eyes, and maybe not so attached to the words, but just to connect to the energy, the frequency that you may receive from Lord Maitreya a little more deeply, beyond the words he shares with us tonight. There is but the light, beloved ones. Only the light. Focus on the light, we say. We are the Lord Maitreya. And we come to speak to you of your journey. For indeed, beloved hearts, you have traveled far, far and beyond this earthly realm. You have traveled through this universal plane, creating, experiencing, being many planes of existence, many dimensions of vibration. Experiencing this for yourself as the soul that you are. And in these many planes of existence, you have been expanded, illuminated. You have remembered that which you are. And you have brought your light to these planes to shine it brightly. And as you come to the earthly plane, you are also asked to bring your light. For this indeed is a great frontier of expression for the heart of the soul. In the physical dimension. A frontier for the expression of your light. And yet, beloved hearts, in this plane, you are asked to come into mastery. For it is a plane, beloved one, that will challenge many souls. For as yet this plane has no mastery. And many souls are called to come and to create the mastery within it. And to do so, beloved hearts, you are required to expand the light of you, the light of your spirit, to bring the many, many parts of you, through all that you are, into this plane of existence, and to anchor this light in this plane and expand it through the frequency of your light body. Yet to do this, one is asked to remember, to let go all limitation of the physical plane, to let go the limitation of your physical body, to let go the limitation of your physical mind. Beloved hearts, and to become the human that you are. Beloved hearts, the gift of God, the light of God, the manner of God's heart, to reconnect with the source of all that is. And this is a journey, beloved heart. A journey of experience and creation. For in every experience in the physical plane, you create consciousness, vibration. And indeed, when you remember your life, you will fill this plane of existence with your life. Yet when you forget your life, you will become trapped in the lower vibrations of duality. And then you will swing from one polarity to another and forget that which you are. And all of this is your journey, beloved heart. And we come to ask you to let go all judgment of your journey for all that you create, beloved heart, whether it is your darkness or your light. Will teach you to grow, to evolve, to become that which you are. And all that you experience will cause you to create consciousness, beloved one. And once again, this consciousness will be your truth, the divine truth of you, or it will be your illusion. And only in your mastery of your light will you come to understand the difference between divine truth and illusion. So we call to you to come into the mastery of your life, to reconnect with all that you are through many levels of experience and creation, and to honor all, beloved one. Leave none behind. Embrace all. Bring all into the light of you. For deep within you is a well of light. It is the very source of that which you are. Choose to bring all to this light, that all may feel its power and its strength, that all may come to remember that which you are. Choose this, beloved one. Choose the mastery of your life over the limitation of your physical experience. Gently, gently, you walk together, human together, as you have traveled together for so long, hand in hand, beloved one, as you grow and evolve together, each one, and as each one grows and evolves, you affect the whole, bringing light to the whole, to the heart of all. Come into oneness with the light of you, beloved hearts, and you will create oneness with the light of all that is in the group collective. Yet it is for you to come into oneness of you, beloved one. We ask you to let go all desire to seek another to do this for you, for they cannot. Each soul must choose this for themselves. Each soul is called to this mastery of their life. And each one of you walks in the divine timing for you. Beloved one, in your own place, in your own time, in your own heart, you will come to know the light of you. In your heart's embraces, beloved one, we say to you, the path that you seek is the path of service to your light, to the divine light of you. Walk this path of service, beloved heart, and you will find that which you seek. We honor you and we bless you, each and every one. Know that you are held, you are loved. In the one heart of all that is. We bless you, beloved hearts. We bless you. Hi, sweet one.
Welcome back, Ishtar. Thank you so much. Thank you. That was beautiful. The energy was, I can still sort of feel the remnants of it now. It was quite trancy. Very, very gentle and high and loving.
Yeah, it's the energy of the masters.
It was very palpable.
Yeah. I'm glad you experienced it.
It was an honor. Thank you so much for bringing that through for us.
You're most welcome.
The wisdom that I scribbled down so many notes as well, because there was just some real, some great insights and some real concise language that was spoken there, of course. About forgetting about the light. This is why we go into polarity and duality. It's when we forget our true light. And it goes back to what we were speaking about before in terms of the journey of going through the shadow. And I just think that's such great wisdom, that we're fixing ourselves in that frequency when we're forgetting our true light. Very, very wise.
Yeah. And we get caught in that. You know, coming back to Ascension. Sorry, I just need to ground a bit of energy.
Sure.
You know, people sometimes, and students particularly, and I know, you know, I've seen this so often over the years, you know, the Ascension becomes the Holy Grail, the chalice that's held up. It's like the prize. And, but it's not, you know, the focus is not for us for Ascension. The focus is really coming back to our truth, back to our light, and every step we take to bring us back there. And Ascension will take care of itself. We can't create Ascension. And this is my understanding with the Masters. Ascension is not something we can create, so we need to let it go as something we're seeking all the time. And just focus on every step we take every day to be more and more in our light, to be more and more who we are, and to resolve all that we're carrying that's telling us we're something else. And Ascension will, you know, when Ascension's ready to come, it'll come. If we do that, if we walk the steps we need to walk, and be present in the now and not look ahead all the time at something outside of us that we have to have. You know, that cup that we must grab hold of, it's not there. It's actually here. It's in us. It's part of who we are. And the journey's here. It's not somewhere else. And I think that's really important. And it's not about leaving the planet. You know, I get lots of students saying, oh, can't wait till I ascend and then I'm off this planet. And I say, well, while you keep saying that, you'll keep coming back. And because I used to hate this planet, you know, when I was younger. I hated this planet. I hated humanity. I hated this planet. I just couldn't wait to get off it. And I can even remember when I was 5 years of age, I used to stand out on the front lawn and I'd look up in the night sky and I'd be calling to the Martians to come and get me because they forgot me. And I was 5 when I started.
Wow.
Like, I didn't believe that, I really believed that my parents were not my parents and that the Martians had left me in a basket under a tree and they'd forgotten me. And I really believed that for many years. And I know a lot of light workers, a lot of people on the spiritual path believe that too. And they believe they have to go home somewhere. But in my work with the Masters, home is here within us. Home is our light here. And that wherever we are, and we travel through the universe, wherever we are, if we are connected to our light, we are always home. When we're looking for home somewhere else, we aren't actually connected. We're disconnected. And this is the truth of it. And it's sometimes hard because we're always seeking that part outside of us. You know, it's in a teacher, it's in God, it's in something outside. But in truth, it's here inside of each one of us. And it's coming back to that and finding a way, whatever way works for you. There's lots of tools, there's lots of teachers, but find the teacher that's going to bring you back here. Find the tool that will bring you back to your heart, because there's so many tools. You need to find one that works for you, that works in your resonance, works for your vibration, your energy, and find that really brings you here in your own heart, brings you back to your light. And if you can find that, that's the biggest gift you'll give yourself, and work with that and come back to your light and reconnect every day back to your light, back to the very source within you, and make that your focus. And if you do that, Ascension takes care of itself. It really does, you know.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, so much truth in what you've just said there. I love that about don't seek it, don't have it as a targeted focus. I can also see that in my own life. Actually, for me, it was when I followed my intuition, my higher self, that was actually guiding me to detach from this very serious spiritual path that I was on at one point, and I was sort of clinging to. It's when I detached from that and actually went back out into living a very sort of third dimensional life, and was really just focused on my relationships with my family and my friends. And you know, I wasn't even thinking about it. It's actually then that it catalyzed this huge opening for me. And
very true.
Yeah, so we do have to follow our intuition, our higher self. And even though sometimes it might lead us down alleys where other people might be like, oh my goodness, what are you doing? Where are you going? If you know that it's your higher guidance coming through, then that's what you follow, right?
That's right. That's right. And it's learning how to discern what that is, you know, because it's sometimes we get confused about our guidance, but when we can really learn to understand the frequency, I really teach about learning to understand the vibration. It's you know, it's like just in the channel. Then you felt the vibration, so you knew that it's high frequency. It's the same thing when you get guidance. Look for the vibration, look for the energy that's in it. Can you feel it? Can you feel it expand you? Can you feel it lift you? And if it's doing that, then you know it's high vibration. You know, if it's not, if it's taking you back to your mind and you're in doubt and all of that, it's not high vibration. So always look to the frequency of the energy and how it moves you. And that'll give you an insight always. Is this my higher self telling me? Or is it a part of me, an ego part of me, or an aspect part of me that's in fear? You know, which part? Because the fear part's not going to hold any vibration. But the higher self will hold beautiful vibration. It will just make you feel good. It'll make you feel expanded, and there'll be no doubt. You know, Mother Mary said something once to a student, and I'd forgotten it, and it was in a retreat a couple of years ago in Hawaii. The student reminded me, and I've never forgotten it since, because it was so profound and yet so simple. She said to this student in a channel that I did for them, and I never remember my channels, but she reminded me. She said to the student, the only difference between you and I is that I know that I am light and I accept it. That's what she said. You know,
wow.
Mother Mary embraces who she is as the light that she is.
I love that. That's very profound. Yes.
It was extraordinary, and it was so simple. And when the student told it back to me from the channel, I just had tears in my eyes, because it just touched me so deeply. And so I'm just sharing that with all of you, because I think if we can just remember that the only difference between an ascended master and us is that we've forgotten we are the light, but they've remembered.
Yeah, it's truly a path of remembering, isn't it?
It is. It really is.
Yeah. Well, beautiful. I'd like to ask you to share some more of your teachings with us, Ishtar, because I know there is a huge amount of wisdom and incredible path that the masters have created with you, that you're sharing with your students. So you're working with mostly Lord Maitreya and Mary Magdalene at the moment, I think. Is that correct?
Very much at the moment, yes. I channel other masters at times, and but I'm working with those two. And I'm just about to go, I'm opening a new school in April, which is called the Path of the One Heart. And I've been working on anchoring this for 5 years now. And it really is about teaching light workers how to be light workers, how to be what they've come to be. And it's actually working with 12 Christed masters, 2 of which, of course, are Maitreya and Mary Magdalene. And we'll be teaching the school for 12 months. And they told me that they came to teach the Essenes 2,500 years ago how to be light workers. Right. And they want to bring these teachings back to people, to assist people to remember who they are and to remember that they're light workers. One of the masters in that group is Dwal Kul, and he's going to have a lot to say in this group, interestingly enough. I've channeled him before, but not very often. And he's not a master that steps forward very often, but he's going to step forward a lot, he's told me, for this group. And he's told us that light workers are actually known as Yanitaras. And I thought this was a very strange name. So I looked up the Yani and Tara. And of course, Yani is a Hebrew word for the gift of wisdom from God. And Tara, of course, is the Sanskrit word for the feminine wisdom. And so it's actually, light workers are the gifts of God, the feminine wisdom is a gift of God. And this is what they are. And they've told me that light workers are, in fact, different. We are different. We've come here for a specific reason. And we actually hold different codes to the rest of humanity. It's why we always often feel on the outer. It's why we're often extremely empathic. It's why, we might be the only one in our family, because we actually have specific codes and consciousness that we're supposed to anchor here for humanity. And it's one of the reasons why most light workers feel the effects of the changes before anybody else. You know, if you go and talk to your family and that, and you're talking about all the energy that's anchoring on the planet right now, and they're looking at you not knowing what you're talking about, it's because you, as a light worker, are actually part of your DNA spiritual makeup is actually designed to experience those rays first. And you're supposed to integrate them and anchor them in the heart of humanity for humanity who can't experience them on their own. And that's what light workers are here to do. But of course, what happens is we once again get caught up in this third dimensional world and we forget who we are. And we get caught up in the old karma we haven't resolved, and we get caught up in humanity's karma. And so we actually don't, or we find it so difficult and so challenging simply to be what we are. And we're trying, a lot of the time, we're spending all our energy trying to be normal, like everybody else, and yet we're not normal.
Absolutely.
And so what the masters are going to be teaching is to teach us to accept that we aren't normal, and that we are highly sensitive and highly empathic, and that we're here to actually do a mission. And while we're forgetting all of that and we're getting caught up in trying to be normal and trying to be like everybody else, we're actually not doing what we're here to do. And so we're going to be teaching 5 groups. The first group are the Magdalens, who are the wisdom teachers. Second group are the harmonizers, so those who do healing work, but also more than that, bringing harmony and balance to things. So there's the lawmakers who work with the universal laws and the records. And then there's, I'm trying to think of the scribes. Yeah, we've got the scribes who actually keep the records and write a lot. They do a lot of writing. And the last one are the caretakers or the keepers of the light, of the sacred light in community. And this is a group that I thought was very interesting because they're the mothers and fathers who work in our communities on many levels, as the sacred caretakers of the light. So they take the light out in our communities and share it in different places. So they're actually light keepers, and they're meant to take it out and in the world and share that light, not as a teacher, but just being the light there and bringing that consciousness there. So we'll be teaching 5 different groups. So I'm really looking forward.
What's it called, Ishtar?
The Path of the One Heart.
The Path of the One Heart.
Yeah, yeah.
Lovely.
So, and of course, we're going to be anchoring this school, and with all my work, I always give it out to students to take out and teach themselves. So we'll be bringing it so others can then, whoever's doing it, can take it out and teach it. So that'll be exciting as well.
Beautiful.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I'd also like to talk about this incredible offer that you have put together specifically for our summit viewers. And this is really great. That you're going to love this. I'll let Ishtar explain, but it's called Wisdom of the Masters. It's about nearly 10 hours worth of teaching. There's transcripts, and there's a free ebook, many different teachings from the masters. Would you mind just explaining to the viewers what this package contains, please, Ishtar?
Sure. It's actually a series of audio recordings and transcripts from the masters, direct channels from the masters, and it actually brings you into understanding their wisdom. So there's teachings, meditations, and activations, plus in the transcripts you can read what the recordings say. So we have Connecting to Divine Source with Lady Sarah and Lady Portia, Honor the Self with Kuan Yin and Mary Magdalene, Align Your Will and Discover Your Potential with El Moira, Let Go Limitation with Lord Kutumi, The Way Forward with Lord Sananda, Open to Gratitude and Forgiveness with Saint Germain, Resolve the Karma with Lady Nada, Embrace the Golden Flame with Lord Maitreya, and Reclaim Your Power with Lord Melchizedek. And of course, there's one with questions and answers with Saint Germain that the people at the workshops asked. So they're live recordings that were done at workshops, and they're very powerful. And they're just really beautiful to listen to as a meditation or as a teaching. And then we also have an ebook called Wisdom of the Masters Connecting to Love. And that really is a lot of teaching about what love is. One of the first channels in it, if they're all channeled, is actually what is love. And it's a teaching from Maitreya about what is love. So I think everyone will love this, and you can dip in and out of it. And when you're asking about tools for Ascension, there's 10 amazing tools here to use for your journey to actually connect with Source or to honor the self, looking at working with will, letting go of the karma. All of these tools really help you to move forward. So
beautiful. Thank you so much. And it's a fabulous price as well. It's a discounted offering. It's normally priced at $299. Is that dollars, Ishtar? Or?
That's Australian dollars. Yeah.
Australian dollars.
Yes.
But it's down to 95 Australian dollars, right, for the summit viewers.
Right. Yeah.
Which is very generous. Thank you so much for this offering. And I really I encourage the viewers of this summit to click on the link that I've sent you in today's email and go and have a read on Ishtar's website of this offering, and just tune into that with your intuition. And if you feel that this would serve you on your path, then it's a fantastic opportunity to access these wisdom teachings for a beautiful discounted price. So Ishtar, it has been an absolute pleasure and honor to speak to you today. I've so enjoyed our connection. Thank you so much.
Thank you, beautiful heart. Thank you. I'll see you in Glastonbury this year.
Absolutely. We need to talk dates after the show and definitely book that in. It's that would be an amazing opportunity. I'd love that. So I'd like to thank all of the viewers who have tuned in to watch this incredible interview today. Thank you so much for your presence. Thank you so much for your time. And I'm sure you enjoyed that interview as much as I did. Please do reach out and let me know what you thought to today's interview, what you thought to the incredible channel that came through from Lord Maitreya. We love hearing from you, so stay connected and please keep on watching the summit. There's going to be more amazing teachers and way showers and leaders that I'll be sharing with you throughout the summit. Many different paths of ascension, many different strategies and wisdom being shared. So please stay connected, and thank you again for your divine presence, and many, many thanks to Ishtar and also to Lord Maitreya. Thank you.